Hello, welcome to another episode of Gotta Start Somewhere Regulation F with Pokemon Showdown. Like I said last episode, I am going to use a Hark, which should be with the C now that I realize it. Fluttermane, this is a bulky Fluttermane set that is going rampant these past couple weeks. And also the Hisuian Arcanine with Choice Band, Ogerpon, Wellspring, Urshifu, Single Strike, Raging Bolt, and Landorus Incarnate. Like I said, I want to be using this team because I want to keep this core as the first team that I want to use, but play something that goes a little bit stronger into the Fluttermane and some other things like there are seen, hopefully against the Lando and all of that. So as always, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing, leaving a like, comment. Anything helps out immensely with my channel. We're going to go start again with another best of 3. Here we go. Let's play some music. Okay, alright, there you go. So it is going to be Booster Energy Fluttermane, probably a little bit more offensive. Focus Sash, Torn, that was the Sash Torn, so I gotta remember that. Ogerpon, Heartflame, Charlodon with Assault Vest, Grass Terra, and with Encore on Ogerpon, Safety Goggles, Ghost Terra, Incineroar, and Rocky Helmet Amoonguss. Hark is great against this, that, and this. To cover for the Fluttermane, I want to go probably my own Flutter actually for the Torn. And I want to put Ogerpon as a Spore. And also not Raging Bolt, but Ursh sounds okay here. Or Lando. I think probably Lando sounds better here. There you go. It is going to be Incineroar Amoonguss. I am worried about the Spore, but I'm also worried about some other things. Maybe I could Rock Slide. If I on Rock Slide, he might take out the Amoonguss, right? But what if he doesn't? No, he's probably going to actually fake out this location and maybe Spore here. So I'm gonna hit Rock Slide. Taunt the Amoonguss actually. Okay. Taunted the Fluttermane instead. Oh, okay. Rock Slide. Is it Flare Blitz into Flutter? No. It is knockoff into Flutter, which doesn't really matter. And then I could probably... This has Shadow Ball. So I'm going to Terra Fairy Icy Wind here. Yeah. I'm still probably faster. And then Rock Slide, yep, to get a double KO. Now I want to switch out the Arcanine, probably. Let's see, it is going to be Ogerpon and Amoonguss. So I want to switch to Ogerpon here. Right? And then I want to... Do I want to taunt? No, actually I don't. I want to switch out to Lando and then Ogerpon on the right. Because I feel like Spore is coming on the... Ivy Cudgel is actually coming on the left. Okay, Spore on the Lando. That's fine. It's not the greatest. But Earth Power into Pawn. You have Spiky shielded, so I'm going to Ivy Cudgel. Rage Powder doesn't work on Ogerpon. and I'm able to take that out. Now you are sleeping. Going to Earth Power into Amoonguss and probably okay. Alright, that's game 1. Now what is it going to switch into for game 2? Is it going to maybe try bringing the... It won't bring the same lead, I want to say, but I think that is still okay despite that. So I want to bring in the same, which is going to be Hark Flutter, because it really doesn't have anything against my Hark. It might decide to bring this first, but even that is okay. So I'm gonna bring out the same 4. So this is a Sash Torn. This Terra is Grass Terra. And it doesn't have anything. It does have Body Press. Probably into Tailwind. That I do not want to take. So I'm gonna Grass Terra, Fairy, Flare Blitz into Archaludon, and then break the Sash with the Icy Wind. Okay, it is the Rain Dance. Flare Blitz, okay, it doesn't do much. Electroshot, probably into the Flutter. I'm going to switch out. I can switch out into the Pawn left, Lando right, in case he decides to Electroshot again. Okay, Tailwind goes in there, Electroshot into Lando. I do resist it. What else does it have that could hit me? It does have Terra Grass. That's okay. I'm going to Ivy here. Body Press probably still doesn't take me out, and then Earth Power into Arch. Okay, Intimidate. Okay, so it is Grass Terra, Earth Power. It still does decent, but Body Press now might actually kill it. Okay. Overpump goes there. I'm going to Follow Me doesn't take out the Fake Out actually, so I'm going to stall 1 turn for that. Does have Safety Goggles, not that it matters. Does also have a Soft Vest, maybe that's why I was able to take the no, Flare Blitz maybe just because, yeah, Flare Blitz into that one, Terra Blast into the Ogre Pawn. Do have 1 more turn. I will take the Follow Me. It could Terra Blast into Lando, but I do want to prevent a Body Press coming into my direction. I can take 1 hit and then Sludge Bomb left, knock off, Sludge Bomb, there you go, to take out the Arch. And then we can bring out the, so they have Torn, might have Flutter. Do I want to bring out the Flutter? No, I don't. I can bring the Arcanine now. So it's gonna be the Torn. Now I just have to press Rock Slide, which basically takes out everything. And let me bring back the Flutter. No. It might Bleak Windstorm. So let's try to take out the Torn. Okay, Rock Slide takes it both out. And then now probably is going to be the Flutter in the back, I want to say. Yeah. And then I'm going to Rock Slide again. And Sludge Bomb. Dazzling doesn't take out one hit. Rock Slide. Yep, is able to clear. Okay. It's GG. Alright, that's a win. So let me upload my games up on the sheet. There you go. 2 wins in the bag. And it's been about 10 minutes or so, but let's take a look at this. Alright, so game 1. Usually I would expect the Torn coming out and something else on the side, right? Usually I am used to seeing Flutter on the side. Never really see Torn in Sin because it's a little bit too defensive, and for the same reason I wouldn't see Torn Among Us. So like Flutter, Incin, or Torn, Archaludon. So I brought in my Hisuian Arcanine is actually good against 5 of these Pokemon, right? It can take hits from Torn, it can also attack it. You can attack this with Rock Slide, this with Flare Blitz, and this with Rock Slide, and this with Flare Blitz, and then this is probably weak against it as well, and it can't really hit me that well with its attack. So Arcanine is a key piece of fighting all the team, and with that, the only thing that it does lack is if they decide to hit with Fake Out, if it decides to hit with like Speed Control with the Torn. I wanted to bring the Icy Wind to slow them down, so I brought the Flutter Mane, which is okay. He ended up bringing Incin Among Us, which is like I said, is a pretty defensive typing. And let's see, what do I do? I think Icy Wind. He took this out, and then I think I Rock Slid here. I taunted the Among Us, thinking that it was Among Us, and then Rock Slide doesn't take it out, does about 50%. Rock Slide around 50%. Oh, Incineroar. And this is Safety Goggle set, right? Yeah. And it is also Terra Ghost. And this Flutter Mane had Taunt, Icy Wind, Shadow Ball, Dazzling Gleam, so now I'm a little bit scared of the Shadow Ball coming in my direction. That's why I think I probably switched it out. Oh yeah, I Terra Fairy to avoid the Shadow Ball. I ended up taking the Icy Wind and Icy Wind back in case they switched into something, and but I was able to get the double knockout. It's pretty good from here. So now with the Ogerpon and Among Us, I'm scared about the Spore, and I'm scared about Ogerpon probably using Ivy Cudgel to KO me, right? Doesn't have Tailwind up, which I shouldn't have been scared, but I'm also -1 speed right now. So if I stayed in, most likely I would have taken the Spore in my direction, and I double switch, which I think was a little bit. Oh, I double switched because I was locked into rock Slide, right? So that happened. I could have still Rock Slid here. Yeah, Wellspring. There was no reason for me to double switch. I could have just Rock Slid into the Ogerpon and that was okay. But, oh yeah, the reason that I did that was if I take the Spore on Arcanine for any reason, I don't have a very good way of hitting the Among Us. That's why I decided to preserve it, and because both of my Lando and Ogerpon can hit the enemy Ogerpon. So Spore goes on Lando, Ivy Cudgel onto the enemy Ogerpon, and Rage Powder doesn't work here because I'm grass. So was able to take out the Overpawn, and then from here, that's game. So moving on to game 2. It is. So now, I'm suspecting that he switches out a little bit. Now that I'm thinking, I think he brought out the Torn and Archaludon to bring the rain part of his composition. That way it is easy for him to stave off my Arcanine against the Archaludon. So if Archaludon is under rain, it's actually not that weak into Arcanine Park because it has Dragon, and so it has Dragon, so it's ×1. And lessen damage to Flare Blitz. So now I have to change how I approach this matchup now that I know this information afterhand, that with the Archaludon, this is probably not, I don't want to go with a Hark direction. I want to go either with the Lando, I want to go in either with the Raging Bolt. I think if he had Pelipper and if he had like Overpower Wellspring, I would definitely have brought in the Raging Bolt instead of Flutter Mane. Because that covers for the range of things. So here's the Torn, here's our Archaludon, here's a Hisuian Arcanine, and the Flutter Mane. Icy Wind was done to break the sash on Tornadus, now that I know that, and then a Flare Blitz into the Archaludon. I did the Grass Terra because Body Press would have done decent amount of damage, and like I said, because Arcanine is a key piece of my team against the enemy team, I did want to protect it. So Rain Dance, Icy Wind does a decent amount of damage, lowers the speed. It does increase the stamina, but with +1 defense, also stamina on Archaludon puts Arcanine in disadvantage. Flare Blitz only was able to do 20%, which is not very good. And then Electroshock into the Flutter Mane, thank God doesn't KO it. And now Tornadus can't really hit the Flutter Mane that well. It wouldn't have killed it with Bleak Windstorm. So I switch out the Flutter Mane into Lando, expecting a Electroshock to go into Lando because it has Electroshock, Thunderbolt, Terra Blast, which is also not very good against Arcanine. Or having the Body Press go into the Overpawn is not the end of the world. But Electroshock goes into Lando, is able to take that out, but now the enemy has Tailwind. So from here, I'm expecting probably a Body Press or a Thunderbolt into the Overpawn direction. But Instinct comes in for the Intimidate, Grass, Archaludon. I wanted to take out the Torn, which is great because with -1, well +1 under Tailwind, he's actually faster. But I did Earth Power Arch here. If I use Sandsear Storm, it would actually be better in this case because I would hit no matter what, right? And the power of Sandsear Storm is how much? Power is 100, and I think Earth Power is 90. Yeah, so definitely hit Sandsear Storm under rain, no matter what. Use Sandsear Storm instead of Earth Power. A lot of W's. Earth Power under rain is stronger. And if I had hit the Sandsear Storm, I would have taken out the Incineroar in this case. It does resist with, you know, pretty decent. Terra Blast Ogerpon does not kill, thank god. Protected, thinking that I'm expecting an attack into. Oh, I double protected because of the fake out pressure from Incin, which I did get faked out. Terra Blast, I blocked. So follow me to take one hit attack, and then I was able to use a Sludge Bomb to kill the Archaludon. If he had a Mungus in the back, it was well protected against that. Knockoff goes into direction, Sludge Bomb is able to take out the Archaludon. But even if the Amoonguss is taken out, it wouldn't have been the end of the world, because that's okay, because I will have the Arcanine to be brought in the back, and Rock Slide. Now just a simple Rock Slide is able to take out the enemy team. Alright, so that is it. Let me get a quick one gamer here, and it doesn't matter which one is where. Not a best of 3, just okay, a quick one hopefully, and it is going to be, wow, a Mandibuzz, oof, Ogerpon Wellspring, Heatran, so no fire, so Lando is very important, Ogerpon is very important, Farigiraf. Okay, I'm bringing out the Lando for the Heatran and the Raging Bolt, and I want to cover for the others, so I'm gonna bring out the Raging Bolt. It makes it pretty weak against Flutter. I think Ursh is decent, but it really depends. I want to bring out my own Ogerpon. And then now I have to pick between these 3 what I want to choose. I do want to choose Hark, I want to say. Except I have to be very careful going against this, so maybe I won't. Maybe I'll just go Mandibuzz in this case. So it is the Flutter and Mandibuzz. It doesn't kill me at -1, but I don't want to take a Dazzling here. So I want to Sludge Bomb the Flutter Mane, Electric Terra, Electro Web actually? Yeah, sounds about right. Protects, Sludge Bomb gets protected. Electro Web. Now Mandibuzz is a little slower, and it is going under Tailwind, so now Flutter Mane is super fast, but I can take that. Sludge Bomb isn't great against a lot of these. Actually going to Earth Power Flutter and Electro Web again. Moonblast, oof, into Lando. It might die. Okay, knock off on the Raging Bolt, so I don't have the Assault Vest anymore, and Electro Web is able to take out the Mandibuzz. Moonblast pretty strong, huh? Okay, Ogerpon comes out. I think I just hit it again. Yeah, I do. I Electro Web again, protect the Lando. Follow me, that's okay. Yep, knew that. I was like, oh, that does a lot of damage. Electro Web does a lot of damage, and into the Raging Bolt now. Does have Follow Me, so I'm gonna bring out the Flutter. Am I faster? No, the enemy is faster. So I'm gonna double switch here. And by double switching, I get a chance to, oh, okay, maybe I should, no, that was Raging Bolt was going in this direction, so I don't get it. Okay, now he doesn't have Tailwind anymore. I get the Icy Wind off, and then I get the Horn Leech off, I do worry that he is actually going to attack me, so I'm gonna Icy Wind and Spiky Shield actually. Yep, follow me, that's okay. And I'm worried Thunderbolt is coming on Ogerpon direction. No, he just puts an Electro Web, which is still fine. I'm a bulky Flutter main. So now I am faster. It would Moonblast into Raging Bolt. And follow me here for the Thunderclap. Horn Leech takes out the Ogerpon. What do you do? Electro Web again. That's alright. I'm gonna bring out my Raging Bolt. That does Taunt work? No, it doesn't work early. So I'm going to still taunt it. And then Draco into Raging Bolt. That's fine. Draco to pawn misses and snarls. Alright. So now he can't follow me anymore. I'm going to Moonblast the Raging Bolt. I'm going to T-Bolt the Ogerpon now. Now he can't taunt. Probably Horn Leech does take it out. It's a little bit unfortunate. Electro Web takes it out. Oh, and then I think I lose here, right? Does Snarl take me out? Snarl might take me out. I'm gonna Sludge Bomb, but if I will die to Snarl, right? Oh, that's unfortunate. Okay. Alright. I'm doing pretty bad. I'm down to 1200 now. Okay, let's take a look. What could I have done better? So let's get started. I don't think my lead was wrong in a way. T-Bolt Mandibuzz doesn't do anything. I was doing so well until like right here, which I've been taking too much Moonblast damage. But what do I have to not take that much damage, right? He did protect Tailwind. And then maybe I Sludge Bomb T-Bolt into this. Earth Power. I definitely should have Thunderbolted Flutter Mane here, because it doesn't really do that much. Mandibuzz doesn't have that much damage. So after it gets off a Tailwind, probably doesn't do that much. It does have leftovers, and I think if I was able to take out the Flutter here, I would have been in much better position, because then it would be Flutter is out, Ogerpon would be in there with the Mandibuzz, and then I'm able to just take it out with the Thunderbolt. Raging Bolt does a lot here, and also Draco, Raging Bolt, taunt early with Flutter Mane. Ogerpon early with Flutter Mane to prevent taunt. Horn Leech, Snarl, and with -1, my follow me Icy Wind is done, but I could have Horn Leech now actually. Yeah, and then because I was able to do so little damage against this, probably an Assault Vest. Raging Bolt. Horn Leech takes out the Overpawn. And with the Follow Me support and the Raging Bolt, it is difficult for me to do this. If I had Lando, I did Taunt now. But this missing, also not very good. Because it would have snarled, I would have switched out my 4th Mon into the Raging Bolt and have a much better time. Yeah. I would have been able to take out the Overpawn and take less damage. I wouldn't die to Raging Bolt trying to Electro Web, and I could have Lando out to die with Overpawn dead, and then we'll have Flutter helping the Raging Bolt be faster, and also yeah. And it's just an unfortunate Draco Meteor. Miss, but that's what happens when you use a 90% accuracy move. Alright. So, you know, it's been fruitful. I think this weekend, like I said, I want to do my own team. It is definitely going to be a mess 100%. But I do want to show that mess, and that if I want to change something, I want to change it with you guys. I want to show how it is changed, what I want to do to fix things, and if what I'm doing fixes things. And it does really help in the best of one, wherein I have the advantage of what my team is special, rather than them knowing definitely 100% what mine is, because I'm using a pre-made team, as opposed to a new team that I have no knowledge about, at least right now. In a best of 3, it is a little bit less of a case because I can actually see what the enemy is running, but in this case it did work into my disadvantage, them knowing in and out what my team is going to be. So as always, thank you for watching the video, and I will see you in the next battle. Bye bye.